Thank you very much for everybody for letting me talk about our cover crop experiences today. My name is Lloyd Alveshere. I am a farmer. I'm a retired NRCS Conservationist. I worked for the NRCS for 35 years. This is what we do. What we do is my family, my wife, Artis, our kids and their families. On the right is our grandson. He is 5, and he is very interested in taking over the farm, and he has told me that he's interested in taking over the farm. So it is very exciting to have him there and helping. This is a picture of our farmstead. It is the farmstead where my wife Artis grew up on. We are a 3rd generation on this farm. We own the farmstead, but we rent the land from her family through a trust. Our operation is located 30 miles straight north of Killdeer, and it's about 6 miles straight west of Mandaree is where we're at. All the decisions that we do on our operation are based on soil health, obviously economic and production and that kind of stuff too. But the big thing we do is go through soil health. On the right in this picture is our soil with the stuff that I'm going to talk about in the next few slides. You can see the dark organic matter in the soil structure. On the left is the same soil across the fence. That operation is continuous barley and millet for hay with some tillage in it. So we have made some improvements, which is nice to see. Crops in rotation. Being in Western North Dakota, we have flax, oats, pea, hay, wheat, diverse cover crops, and alfalfa and grass, hay in rotation. We seed with a John Deere 750 no-till drill, so leaving as much cover as we can on the ground is important. You can see in this slide, it's flax seeded into oats stubble that we cut high and then can leave that cover on the ground to try to maintain as much cover as we can. One of our cover crops that we've done has been fall seeded cover crop. This was the mix that I used last fall. This cover crop was seeded on August 15th after wheat harvest. We did not have any substantial rain after July 1st. So none of this cover crop germinated. None of it came. Typically 3 out of 5 years in Western North Dakota, we can grow a fall cover crop. If you want to guess which 2 years I planted cover crop, 21 and 24 were the 2 years I tried it. The reason for this cover crop was 2 things: was to keep a green living root in the soil as long as I could, and to build some nitrogen for the next crop. The next crop in this sequence should be flax, but because of that stuff not coming, we are going to plant something out there that we can hay, anticipating that cover crop to grow and come with the crop this spring. The cover crop that we've had good success with is a season-long cover crop. This is a picture of it in July. We typically seed it the 3rd week of June. We seed it again with our John Deere no-till drill. Knowing our context and knowing what we have, the combine that we have does not have a chopper on it. So when we combine flax, if you've seen flax being combined without a chopper, it sends out big wads of flax straw. They can be anywhere from 6 inches across to 2 feet across. So seeding the cover crop into that flax residue works really good because I'm not super concerned if there's areas that don't get seed into the ground. That flax straw will still cover the ground. There's good biology underneath it. And the next year when we do oats or wheat or something, we can generally seed through that. When we do this season-long cover crop, this is the mix that we use. We've tweaked it over the years to kind of come to this. Because of the wheat and the oats and the flax and the rotation, this we try to do as much warm season grass and warm season broadleaves as we can to try to get that diversity in there. Like I said, crop diversity is a big thing. This is how we can get the warm season broadleafing grasses in there. If you notice, there's non-GMO corn in there. If you're going to put corn in these cover crop rotations, try to get non-GMO corn from somebody that produces it. It is way cheaper than trying to buy corn from a seed company. That seed is very expensive if you're going to put it into cover crop mixes. The other big one in here is sunflowers. Sunflowers is cheap, good diversity. Cows love it. Calves do really good on it. The oil in the plant does a really good job with cows and the calves eating it. The other one I want to point out is the pearl millet. There was a seed dealer that didn't want to sell me pearl millet because cows won't eat it. And I said, good. And he was like, well, what do you mean? I said, good. It'll be good ground cover. If they don't eat it, it'll be good ground cover. So that's why I leave that in there. During the summer, in Western North Dakota, where we're at, getting ground canopy with wheat or flax or oats with a 7.5-inch drill spacing, which we have, and most guys use 10, is almost impossible. So to get that canopy over and get a nice canopy is almost impossible. And I think it's very important to keep down the evaporation and transpiration in these systems. With this cover crop here, you can see it's really nice. There's good canopy on it. In the dry years, if you walk through this cover crop in the morning and we've maybe not had rain for weeks, there will be moisture in this cover crop. You will walk through and your pants will get wet from walking through it. And I know those crops are growing off that moisture. It's neat to see how that works. This is kind of the same area. You can see the tree in the background, what the cover crop looked like during the summer, what it looked like after frost. You can just kind of see the comparison there. In the fall of 23, this was the cover crop that we grew. You can see there, it's pretty much just sorghum sedan, which you can see there's a bunch of other diversity and stuff inside. But it's weird how each year different things express themselves. What we do with these cover crops is we actually contract with the neighbor to graze the cover crops. He pays, we graze it the 1st of October to mid-November. We try to graze the cover crops after the first frost. And what he does is he pays me per head per day to graze these cover crops. Here's 160 pair out in cover crop in the fall of 23. Yeah, you can see what the production is. Those cows love that. We use poly rope electric wire along this county road and around our fields. It's easy to put up, take down, and the cows really respect it. The only trouble we have is sometimes we will get some elk coming through there and they take that fence out pretty easy. Cows in the winter, they'll eat through the snow. The calves will eat through the snow. They'll balance their diet really nice. Earlier, Carlos had talked about the rhizosphere. Here's just a picture of the rhizosphere in the winter on some of our, one of our grass plants that I pulled out. Watering tanks, we have 3 different areas that we can graze cover crop and different things. We have 3 different water tanks, winter water tanks. These are thermal sink water tanks, come out of Canada. The other one is a rectangle tank with cover on it. These thermal sink tanks work super good. They're easy to put in and maintain, and they do a really nice job. In the areas where we have the cover crop, we also have native hills, we have hayland fields, we have stubble. The cows will be everywhere. They'll balance their diet. You'll see them grazing in all them different situations, a few head here and there. It works really good. The calves do well on the cover crop, especially with diversity in there. When the neighbor has sold his calves in the fall at sale barn, he usually will get called out because his calves look so fleshy and they have a sheen on them from the cover crops, and he usually gets a premium with that, selling those calves at the sale barn. Eating the cover crops, it's kind of neat. The cows love turnips. It's fun to watch them eat it. They'll work on that turnip and eating it, and then afterwards they just foam at the mouth. They're just salivating from eating that turnip. Between the neighbor and I, we've kind of got an agreement. This is kind of what we want it to look like when it's done, so that I've got cover for what I'm trying to do with the cover crops. He's got some utilization out of the cover crops, so he sees benefits too. This is what it looks like in the fall after it's done. Seeding the next spring, it's usually either oats or wheat, or oats and peas for hay. We'll seed 1.5 inches deep. It's easy to get through this stuff. It works great, and it leaves plenty of cover. This is oats for hay after a cover crop year. You can see all the cover on the ground. Once in a while, we'll have to rake the oats or the oats and the peas to get it to dry or to get it baled or whatever. But we'll use either a bar rake or a basket rake, and we will set it above so we don't rake that residue off. And that works really good to keep that cover as much as we can on the ground. Good. Okay. Okay. This is a picture of my buddy. He's out helping me. He wants to check the fence. So that's it. If there's any questions or anything, and that's my contact information.